We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Canelo Alvarez may not fight Caleb Plant. There could be some doubts there. Let's listen.
You know, let's not forget, this guy has boxed 3 times in, 7 months, 8 months. And his 4th fight will be 4 fights in 10 months, which as a pound for pound #1 in a pandemic is incredible. So I think that, my instructions from Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso were, what we want. We want Caleb Plant, but if that's not possible for September, show me the champions we can face. And clearly a move up to 175 for now is also on the agenda if that undisputed fight can't get made.
Wow, Canelo does it again. Now they're saying the Caleb Plant fight may not happen. Canelo said he wanted to be undisputed. Hey, let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. If you love all things the sweet science, this is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. I encourage you to hit the like button. Now, you guys heard the clip at the beginning. That was Eddie Hearn, who's recently been working with Canelo Alvarez on DAZN. You also see on DAZN's page, Canelo, he's schooling the youth or whatever. And it says, we want Caleb Plant, but if that's not possible, show me the champions we can face. There you have it. Eddie Hearn speaks on the Canelo fight. Now, this is exactly what I predicted. We want Caleb Plant, but if that's not possible, show me the champions we can face. Now, so many questions come up. Why would that not be possible? Canelo Alvarez is a free agent. I understand that he says Eddie Hearn is the best promoter in the world, which I disagree with, but it's another subject. And he's a free agent. Why would the Caleb Plant fight not happen? Now they're talking about Canelo could move up to 175 to fight ARTUR Beterbiev or DIMTRY Bivol. Listen, I'm going to say this as politely as possible. Canelo Alvarez, best of luck to him on his career with guys like Deontay Wilder, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, who else? Jerron Boots Ennis, Tank Davis doing backflips. Canelo's story is just altogether becoming very predictable. I've predicted like every step of the way, and it's no longer really even enjoyable, to be honest. Yes, Canelo can fight. Yes, Canelo seems like a nice person, a good dude, good-hearted dude. He has skills. But the games he's playing in boxing, there's just so many other fighters that I feel the attention that Canelo gets, he's been praised and put on the #1 pound-for-pound list. And, people, they tend to show love to Canelo's skill set. If we're being honest, for me, although I do think Canelo's a great fighter, he hasn't really showed separation in a lot of his biggest fights, right? And I know the Canelo Man fans, they're going to get mad at me and say, oh, Ego, you are hating and all this stuff. But prove me wrong. You look at the Mayweather fight, clear-cut loss. He lost arguably every round, except for on CJ Ross's card. Triple G fight. I thought Canelo won the second one, but the first one I gave to Triple G. I've always been on the record and said that. Thought he did good in the second fight. But there are people out there who really believe Canelo Alvarez lost the second Triple G fight as well as the first. They thought the first wasn't a draw, right? So that's up in the air. Edeslandi Lara, same thing. A lot of people thought Edeslandi Lara really won that fight. I think Edeslandi Lara won that fight. Who cares about other people? I personally think. So we know Canelo only has 1 loss on his record, but in my eyes, he really should have more. Lara, Triple G won. The Danny Jacobs fight, you look at that, that was razor thin towards the end. I think Canelo came out explosive. He looked real good. Second half, I don't know what Jacobs was doing in the first half of the fight. But then again, in the second half of the fight, it looked like Canelo flattened out and tapered out. So fast forward to right now, this is just a bad look for Canelo and DAZN. They're riding on the star power, and Canelo's on honeymoons, on yachts and stuff like that, which is great. I have no problem with a man getting his money. But this is still a sport, and this is still a competition. And it appears that DAZN is really overpaying for a product that I know there's no way they're really getting their return on their investment. And Canelo's on this European tour, and it's all too predictable. He's constantly fighting European fighters, Eastern European fighters, Turkish fighters, and there's quality fighters right here in America that want to face him, that we know will build tremendous outings. Like we just watched last weekend, Gervonta Tank Davis, a Black American fighter who's lit, fight a Mexican American, Mario Barrios, El Azteca, in Atlanta, and it was lit. You got guys like David Benavidez, who I've seen him fight in Texas. The people loved his fight. I was at the Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia fight, right? Where is another African-American fighter versus a Mexican-American fighter, both with names in the sport. I was at that fight. Benavidez fought J. Leon Love, another African-American fighter, and a fighter who's Mexican-American. You see a pattern? And this was in Texas. The fight card was lit. David Benavidez is the goods. Like you look at David Benavidez, he's calling out everybody from CHARLO to Caleb Plant to Canelo. And I think this would be a great fight, especially since Canelo says he wants to fight on the quote unquote Mexican holidays. Benavidez and his dad, they're calling out everyone. They want the big looks. They want the big fight. His brother's coming back on the Benavidez card on Showtime. So that's cool for him. And he needs an opportunity. The other thing is Benavidez is the former two-time WBC champion, and really no one's beat him in the ring. He lost his belts on technicalities, right? So Canelo Alvarez, you guys could play the game. We know what it is. We see what it is. At the end of the day, when Benavidez lost his belt based on the second technicality, that's when Canelo said he wanted to become undisputed, right? And I'll get to JERMALL Charlo in a second. Now, when he loses his belt in the pandemic, they didn't have no sauna. It was like the first Showtime show. He had a miscalculation with weight, lost his belt, and then Canelo was like, oh, I'm fighting for that, right? And you know, the WBC, aka We Back Canelo, they were all for it. Now, Canelo, for the second time, says he was going to fight and look to become undisputed, right? And now they're saying there's doubts with the Caleb Plant fight, which also would have been an awesome fight. It's not guaranteed what direction they're going to head in, but this doesn't sound good when Eddie Hearn is already starting to pacify the fans and say, we want Caleb Plant, but if that's not possible, right? He says there's an offer from DAZN, an offer from Fox. So why would it not be possible? This is what Canelo said he wants. So let me get this straight. Canelo Alvarez can fight fighters from Europe, fighters that are Eastern European, and fighters from Turkey nonstop, no problem. Even when a problem is created from the fighter. The B-side fighter in Canelo's last fight, Billy Joe Saunders, was putting up a fit saying, I'm going home if you guys don't increase the ring size, right? That's what they were saying. And they made the accommodations to save the fight, salvage the fight. They flew in a replacement, John Ryder, yada, yada, yada. So David Benavidez, I have never seen him complain about ring size or diva-like behavior, saying this ring is not the right size. He just wants a fair fight, fair gloves, fair ref, fair judge, stuff like that, common stuff. I've never seen JERMALL Charlo complain about that. JERMALL Charlo, he posted a picture of his hand after the Montiel fight, and his hand was jacked up. So we haven't seen that. But meanwhile, Canelo's last opponent did all these things, like didn't show up for media obligations, things that Charlo and BENAVIDEZ and ANDRADE have had no problems. The other thing is, ANDRADE was supposed to fight this man, Billy Joe Saunders. See, I can get deep. There's so many layers to this. As you could tell, they had a press conference and everything. Billy Joe Saunders later fought Canelo and got the Canelo payday, never gave ANDRADE a rematch when he was forced to withdraw for the fight because he failed a drug test. He said it was nasal spray. But yet another European fighter gets rewarded in America, in Texas, and puts on the show. But ANDRADE, who's also with DAZN, he has to resort to fan-made posters and call-outs of Triple G and Canelo on the same platform, and Eddie Hearn, who y'all say is promoter of the year, can't seem to get him any of those fights. And he's a U.S. Olympian, and people have been wanting to see the ANDRADE Canelo fight since he calling everybody out again. You know, he calling them out. He went to his press conference, but he can't get yeah, fool. So ANDRADE can't get no looks. This is obvious. And now they're talking about Canelo leaving the division to go to 175 to fight Beterbiev, who didn't really look great in his last performance, and neither has Bivol. Two other guys from Russia. So it's like Canelo's on this world tour. Good luck with him and Eddie Hearn. I'm no longer interested. Bro, he's not fighting any of the thing. And the funny thing is, I wish the Canelo man fans had the same confidence that you have for Canelo. I wish his team was showing the same confidence. There are great fighters out there. Even look, Crawford's even laughing at it, right? ANDRADE's been on his heels since 154. CHARLO's been on his heels since 154. BENAVIDEZ has been on his heels for years, and Canelo and Eddie Hearn trying to play these games. And we'll see. If he doesn't fight Caleb Plant, then this will be the second time that Canelo Alvarez has told you he wants to unify and become undisputed in the division, and it can't happen for some reason, right? So I figured this could be the case when Canelo started saying stuff like Eddie Hearn is the best promoter, and then they started doing shows together in Mexico with Eddie REYNOSO. It looks like Canelo's just trying to rob the bank. And it's so funny because everything Canelo literally does, old media and the racists and the skinheads that watch boxing, they all say that they hated Floyd Mayweather for this type of antics. But Canelo's putting on shows. He's putting on shows in Mexico, and obviously got business dealings with Eddie Hearn, and he's a free agent. They specifically told you when he got separated from Golden Boy and became a free agent, they told you that he can work with every promoter, and he intends to do. But DAZN, who was also added to the Golden Boy lawsuit, he's still only working with them if he does not fight Caleb Plant, if he does not fight David Benavidez, if he does not fight Jermall Charlo. And then, like I said, if he's going to fight a DAZN fighter, why can't it be somebody that, like, at this point, I would rather see Canelo and Jaime Munguia, just because it's a different style, instead of him fighting guys from certain regions of the world. Fight a guy from Mexico, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. He's a big dude. He's from Mexico. He has power. He's extremely tall. Look at him. David Benavidez. He's from Arizona. He's Mexican American. He's Spanish speaking. But Canelo keeps fighting the Austin Powers European tour. It's crazy. It's crazy, and people want to praise that. So it's going to be real disappointing if he doesn't fight Caleb Plant, period. Boom. Look, and I told you guys this was a possibility, where it's like using people's names like you're going to fight them. Canelo Alvarez says Caleb Plant fight is possible unless he prices himself out. And now hours later, new articles saying he's looking at other options for September. The Plant fight is in doubt. But the crazy thing is, he hasn't said that Caleb Plant was pricing himself out. So if the fight doesn't happen, then it looks like it's because of his association with Eddie Hearn, and he's trying to stay with Eddie Hearn and or not fight Caleb Plant. Because if you said you wanted all the belts at 160, so why would you be looking at other options? See, this is the thing. Canelo, he wants to have things his way, and he told you that he felt Eddie Hearn was the best promoter. But on PBC, Eddie Hearn's not really needed. If you really wanted the legacy fight, you wanted the belt, you want to fight a great fighter in Caleb Plant, then just do it. But it looks like there's other issues going on. And like I said, I believe that he wants to have Eddie Hearn tag along, and he's not really needed for the deal to fight with Caleb Plant. So now they're trying to keep it in-house, which is ironic enough because when Mayweather was at Tank's fight and Mayweather told the media straight out after the Barrios win, he said to the media, man, we going to keep everything in-house. Why are we going to make a lot of money for another promoter? But look at Canelo. He hasn't said Caleb Plant has priced himself out. You can go to Caleb Plant, his Instagram. He's in shape. He's motivated. He said he wants to fight. He's been saying he wants to fight. So what reason would there be to not fight Caleb Plant when you yourself said you want to Undisputed? And I told you Caleb Plant is a dangerous style. I said he's more dangerous than Billy Joe Saunders. And old media was like, no, Billy Joe Saunders. And then Billy Joe Saunders went in there and got his eye broke versus Canelo. Caleb Plant has a different style. He's better than Billy Joe Saunders, especially at 168. He's more proven. He's a champion. Billy Joe Saunders was a champion, but look at who they fought to become champions. Caleb Plant fought Uzcategui coming off of derailed performances, right? And Billy Joe Saunders fought some random person you've never heard of. He fat, she thick, and he failed a drug test, something Caleb Plant has never done. So, wow, this is going to be crazy if he doesn't fight Caleb Plant like he said he was going to. They're talking about Bivol. Who wants to see that? Again, good luck to Canelo. Good luck to DAZN. Keep playing the Diva game and not fight the fights that the fans want. The fans just move on. Caleb Plant has a lot of leverage here, like I told you. He's a PBC fighter. There's great in-house fights with David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Anthony Durrell. Durrell kind of criticized Caleb Plant Truex performance. So they have a ton of options. The guy that beat Uzcategui that was with Mayweather Promotions, Lionel, right? So they still got options. David Morrell's coming up. So unfortunately for Canelo, this is looking bad, and people are going to start paying attention. And, you know, he can keep fighting guys from Russia and stuff. Like, how many Russians and Eastern Europeans and Turkish fighters do you have to fight? You fought Kovalev, Russian. Now they're saying Artur Beterbiev or Bivol, you know, whatever. We'll see. And it'll probably be Bivol as opposed to Beterbiev anyway. But I'll save my thoughts for here. Let's see and let's wait this out. See if he ends up fighting Caleb Plant. But it doesn't look good with Eddie Hearn saying we're looking at other options. He needs to fight Caleb Plant. He said, even if you didn't fight Caleb Plant to become Undisputed, why not fight JERMALL CHARLO? See, Canelo's doing interviews in Reynoso, and they're picking and saying, oh, we want to fight CHARLO and BENAVIDEZ after Plant. So they're making it like, oh, we want Plant, but there's no reason to not fight Plant. So if you don't fight Plant, then fight one of the other people. See, Canelo, I'm telling you, Canelo's taking y'all for a ride. If he doesn't fight Plant, he's taking y'all for a ride. His recent interview, or his team's interview, said they want, after Plant, they want JERMALL CHARLO or David Benavidez. They didn't say nothing about Beterbiev and Bivol. So if you don't fight Plant, by default, shouldn't you just go to the next people you said on your list? And ANDRADE really should be in that list, just based on the history between the two, the history of being in the same division. So it's clear Canelo is trying to stay away from certain styles, or doesn't want to fight certain styles, or just wants to eat up DAZN's money and do whatever he wants. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section. I encourage you to like the video. Let me know what you think is going on, man. But like I said, Caleb Plant, he has a lot of options. PBC on Fox has been lit, so we'll see. There's Dave Morrell. There's Dave Morrell Jr. He's an up and coming guy at 168. So For Canelo, we'll see. I'm not even going to speculate. We'll see. But with Eddie Hearn doing that interview, it didn't sound that promising. And really, there's no excuse. He was already talking about, oh, Caleb Plant can't price himself out before he even beat Billy Joe Saunders. So, man, if you don't fight Caleb Plant, I can't wait to do a follow-up video. But let me know what you guys think. As always, hey, comment, and subscribe. Tell these videos egos. I know.